Hello everyone, and welcome to my Duel Today official news channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Brady suggests, Teresa and Brady's reconciliation shocks Kristen and Alex? Updates and spoilers for Days of Our Lives hint that Alex Kyriakis and Kristen DiMera will be stunned. Due to their son's issues, Brady Black and Teresa Donovan become closer, and Brady even makes a marriage proposal. The evidence of various writers has been evident for the past few months or so. Since DOOL is taped 6 months in advance, viewers are currently viewing the work of striking writers. Some of the content may not have continuity or even make sense because the show must continue even with non-union writers. On the other hand, some content may be superior. Teresa pressuring Alex to marry her for his money, which isn't truly his inheritance, seems to be less and less prevalent among the writers. What's going on could make sense unless they're attempting to form a Brady-Alex-Teresa triangle or pairing up Alex and Kristen. Even before the writers' strike would have continued, steps were taken to draw Brady and Teresa closer. Teresa Donovan initially appears happy to reconvene. Tate Black also made his debut appearance when Teresa returned to Salem, initially seeming anxious to get back together with Brady and try to salvage their relationship. She started pursuing Alex when she broke into her father's briefcase, but Brady wasn't interested and rejected her outright. She changed Alexandros' name to Alexander Alex after discovering a letter claiming that Xander Cook was the Kyriakis' heir. It's also possible that she changed the writer's name. It was eventually discovered that Konstantin Meliunis was also complicit in the scam, and he coerced Teresa into plotting with him. Although Teresa doesn't seem to love Brady, her son's father, as much, she does appear to care for Alex. Throned together with Alex Kyriakis is Kristen DiMera. Meanwhile, Kristen has finally moved on from Brady and has spent a lot of time with Alex. The two appear to be getting along well. Brady and Teresa are growing closer as they go through Tate's ordeal of being suspected of drug dealing, which has forced them to become closer. Brady was far more helpful than Alex when Teresa fell up and started using drugs. Although he attempted to assist, he was unable to empathize because he had never used drugs himself. Alex is essentially on the outside looking in while Teresa attempts to patch things up between the father and son right now. It appears that the foundation is being set for a reunion between Brady and Teresa as well as Alex and Kristen. Paulina's Cured, Clyde's on the Run, Newlywed Cabin Retreat, and Two Farewells. According to spoilers for the week of March 11th to 15th on Days of Our Lives, Tate Black will break out of his halfway home and slip into Holly Jonas' bedroom window. That will cause EJ DiMera and Nicole DiMera to discover Tate with Holly, which will cause EJ to lose it and demand that Tate be put back in jail. Holly is going to be in a difficult predicament because she remembers that she is the one who obtained the pills. Although Holly won't want to come clean, she'll also be desperate to keep Tate out of danger. Nicole will stand with her daughter when Holly begs EJ not to put Tate back in jail. But Tate will still wind up behind bars, and Brady Black and Teresa Donovan will be furious with their son for that. In Paulina Price's case, an angel will come to her in her hour of need. While Paulina is in critical condition in the hospital, this angel will intervene on her behalf and bring a message that Abe Carve will also receive. Paulina will celebrate the miracle with Abe, Lonnie Grant, Chanel Dupree, and other loved ones after her cardiology findings astound her medical team. Eli Grant and Lonnie Grant will discuss their living arrangements after Paulina's recuperation is proceeding as planned. Although Eli would much rather stay close to Lonnie, he has an incredible employment opportunity in Washington, D.C. After discussing it, Eli and Lonnie will probably agree that he must accept the job offer, but Paulina should realize that they must part ways. According to teasers for other days, Trip Horton and Wendy Shin will eventually be located, but not before needing to have their oxygen tanks refilled. Fortunately, Wendy and Trip will be alright. Nevertheless, since Clyde Weston will be at large, he might continue to pose a threat to some Salemites. There will be some intimate moments when Harris Michaels wakes up later from another health setback to discover that Ava Vitali is taking care of him. Konstantin Meliunis will keep drawing Maggie Kyriakis in Elsewhere. Maggie will make Constantine fall even more in love, so he should feel as though he has her just where he wants her. Steve Johnson will then talk candidly with Marlena Evans about his time spent working with the pawn, also known as Program John Black, at Aria. Regretfully, Constantine will also tell John the Aria tale, which will remind him of how the pawn led to Katharina's death. Day spoilers imply that after hearing Constantine's version of events, John might feel conflicted. If it turns out to be true, a part of John might be saddened, but another part of him might think it's just not right. It's important to remember that John is known to be traveling to Aria in order to clear his reputation in the future. Meanwhile, Sarah Horton will arrange for Chanel and Johnny DeMera to take a little honeymoon getaway in the Horton cabin, which they will seize at the chance to do. In the event that Clyde shows up at the same spot, that honeymoon excursion can take a disastrous turn. It's a possibility worth taking into account because Clyde will undoubtedly be hidden somewhere. Naturally, EJ also consented to place Stefan in a secure area before assisting him in leaving the nation. Is Stefan waiting for transportation while holed up in the cabin area as well? Maybe Stefan might make up for it by saving Chanel and Johnny if there's a chance they're in some Clyde danger. Nevertheless, EJ might have to act foolish about Stefan's disappearing act since Harris would eventually corner him and demand an explanation. According to Days of Our Lives spoilers, the week of March 11th to 15th will have some amazing announcements and intriguing turns. Be sure to check back for updates on all the surprises. Ava tells John and Steve the truth. Clyde issued her an ultimatum. Updates and teasers for Days of Our Lives hint at Ava Vitale tells Steve Johnson and John Black the truth. She is in desperate need of their assistance after Clyde Weston offered her an ultimatum. Steve Johnson suspected Ava Vitale was in difficulty aside from their son Trip Johnson's abduction and his girlfriend Wendy Shin's abduction. Steve suspected Ava was in difficulty and that Clyde had some sort of leverage over her. Though he had a suspicion that it might have something to do with the drugs being transported through Salem, he just wasn't sure what Ava was being made to do since his time in Poplar Bluff, Missouri. Clyde has been a drug lord, and even during the period when he was acting sober, he was engaging in criminal activity. Since skunks and leopards are unable to change their stripes and would not wish to, Clyde looks like either one of them. Steve and John believe Ava when they say that individuals can change if they so want, even though it might occasionally be a challenging process. Clyde has issued an ultimatum to Ava: either she assists him in breaking out of prison or Trip and Wendy perish. John and Steve have been frantically attempting to locate them. They are stuck in some sort of tank, probably an old gas or water tank in an abandoned facility, but even they are unsure of their precise location. All of the evidence they had is the pictures in Trip's message, which they used to surmise that the abductor had forced him to read from a script. Ava informs Steve and John that, despite Stefan DeMera's, Brandon Barish, wife already having a broken leg in Statesville, she and Stefan are being compelled to run drugs via the bistro. The first hint that Wendy and Trip had been abducted from Horton Town Square during the geocaching event was that they had failed to show up for work.